During marriage counseling, she admitted about her ex. If he asked me back tomorrow, I'd leave you. The therapist froze. I stood up, thanked them for their time, and walked out. Her call started before I reached the parking lot. I never answered. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. Hey Reddit, long-time lurker, first-time poster on a throwaway because this mess is still too fresh, and I don't want it blowing up my main life. I'm 35, male, and up until about a year ago, I thought I had a pretty solid marriage. 5 years in, no kids yet, but we were talking about it. Or at least I was. Looking back, maybe that was the first red flag. I was always the one pushing for the next step, while she seemed content to coast. But hey, hindsight is 20/20ths, right? Let me back up and give you some context so this doesn't come out of nowhere. My name's Alex, fake for obvious reasons, and I work as an IT manager for a mid-sized tech firm in a decent-sized city on the East Coast. Stable job, good pay, the kind that lets you buy a house without drowning in debt. I met Jenna in college. She was studying marketing, I was in computer science. She was outgoing, funny, the type who lit up a room. I was more the quiet, reliable guy who made sure everyone got home safe after parties. Opposites attract, or so they say. We dated for 3 years before I proposed. She said yes, and the wedding was great. Her family flew in. Mine hosted a backyard rehearsal dinner. Early on, things were solid. I supported her through everything. About 2 years into the marriage, she lost her job during a company downsizing. It hit her hard. She was depressed for months. I picked up extra freelance work to cover the bills, encouraged her to take time off to figure out what she wanted. I even turned down a promotion that would have required relocating because she wasn't ready to move. We'll build our life here, I told her. No rush. She eventually landed a new gig as a marketing consultant, and things seemed to pick up. But around year 4, cracks started showing. She'd stay out late with work friends, come home tipsy and distant. Her phone was always buzzing, and she'd angle it away when I was around. I chalked it up to stress at first. Then there were the little digs, comparing me to other guys in passing, like, oh, my coworker Mark just bought a boat. Must be nice to have that kind of adventure. Mark. That name kept popping up. Turns out, he was her ex from before we met, someone she'd dated briefly in college. She'd mentioned him once or twice as a fun guy, but nothing serious. Lately, though, she'd bring him up more, always in a casual way that felt anything but. The social media stuff started subtly too. She'd post these vague stories or tweets about settling for less than you deserve, or remembering the sparks that got away. I saw them because we followed each other, but she never tagged me. It stung, but I didn't confront her, didn't want to seem insecure. Instead, I suggested marriage counseling. Let's talk it out with a pro, I said. We've invested too much to let things slide. She agreed, but looking back, her enthusiasm was lukewarm at best. We booked a session with a neutral therapist in town, someone recommended by a friend. I went in hopeful, thinking this was our chance to reset. That morning, I remember feeling a mix of nerves and optimism. I made us coffee, kissed her goodbye as we left for work, and met her at the office after. The therapist's place was in a quiet building downtown. Beige walls, generic art, the kind of spot designed not to offend. We sat on opposite ends of a worn couch, the therapist, a middle-aged woman named Dr. Ellis, between us in an armchair. She started with the basics. What brings you here today? I went first, explaining how I felt the distance growing, how I wanted to reconnect. Jenna nodded along, but her eyes were on her phone under her leg. When it was her turn, she sighed dramatically. I don't know, Alex is great on paper, but lately, it feels like we're just roommates. No excitement, you know? Dr. Ellis probed gently. Can you elaborate on what you mean by excitement? That's when things started unraveling. Jenna talked about feeling stuck, how our life was too predictable. I listened, nodding, thinking this was progress, getting it out there. Then the therapist asked about past relationships, if there were any unresolved feelings affecting us now. Jenna hesitated, then shrugged. Well, there's my ex, Mark. We reconnected on social media a while back. He's just different, more alive. I felt a knot in my stomach, but I stayed calm. Reconnected how? I asked quietly. She waved it off. Just friends, Alex. But talking to him reminds me of what I might be missing. The therapist leaned forward. Jenna, can you be more specific? How does this affect your commitment to the marriage? That's when she dropped the bomb. She looked right at me, not even blinking, and said, "Look, if Mark asked me back tomorrow, I'd leave you. I mean, he's the one that got away. With you, it's comfortable, but is that enough? I deserve more than just stability." The room went dead silent. Dr. Ellis froze, her pen hovering over her notepad, eyes wide like she'd just witnessed a car crash. I could hear the clock ticking on the wall. My heart pounded, but outwardly, I didn't react. No yelling, no tears. It was like a switch flipped. Everything she'd said confirmed what I'd been ignoring for months. I wasn't her first choice. I was the safe backup. I took a deep breath, set my hands on my knees, and stood up. "Thank you for your time, Dr. Ellis," I said evenly. "I think that's all I need to hear." Jenna blinked, caught off guard. "Wait, what?" "Alex, sit down. We're not done." I glanced at her, but there was no anger in my voice, just finality. "Actually, we are? You've been clear." Dr. Ellis stammered. "Alex, perhaps we should discuss." "No need," I interrupted politely. "This session has been enlightening." I nodded to both of them and walked out the door, down the hall, into the elevator. My mind was racing. Hurt, yeah, but also a weird clarity. All those sacrifices, the deferred dreams, the quiet support. For what? To be someone's second best? By the time I hit the lobby, my phone buzzed. It was Jenna. I let it go to voicemail as I stepped into the parking lot. Another buzz. Text. "What the hell, Alex?" "Come back." Then calls, one after another. I silenced my phone, got in my car, and drove. Not home. To a buddy's place across town. I crashed on his couch that night, explaining the basics without drama. "It's over," I said. He didn't push, just handed me a beer. The calls kept coming, voicemails piling up. I listened to the first few out of curiosity. "Alex, that came out wrong. I was just being honest like the therapist said. Don't overreact." Her voice was a mix of annoyance and panic. Another. "You're seriously walking out over words? Grow up. We can fix this." Fix this. Her twisted logic hit me hard. She'd framed her betrayal as honesty, like admitting she'd bolt for her ex was some brave act. But it wasn't about the words, it was the truth behind them. I'd been pouring into a marriage she saw as a placeholder. No more. That night, I started planning. I didn't beg or confront, I just detached. Blocked her temporarily to think, contacted a lawyer the next day for divorce papers. Moved my essentials to storage, left the house as is. She could have it for now, I want it out clean. But the attempts didn't stop. Texts from burner apps. "This is ridiculous. Talk to me." Then her sister got involved, calling from her number. "Jenna's a mess, Alex." She didn't mean it like that. "Your family. Don't throw it away over one session." I hung up without a word. Her mom's email came next. I raised her to be truthful. "You're abandoning her when she needs you most." What kind of man does that? The hypocrisy burned. They'd always enabled her, spoiled her growing up, excused her flakes. Now they were guilting me? No thanks. Meanwhile, I focused on me. Hit the gym harder, took that promotion I'd passed on, relocated temporarily to the company's satellite office a few hours away. It was freeing. For the first time in years, I wasn't walking on eggshells. The next few months were a blur, but not in the dramatic, movie montage way. It was more like grinding through mud, slow, messy, and exhausting at first. I didn't spiral into some revenge plot or drown my sorrows at a bar. Nah, I just existed. Woke up on my buddy's couch, went to work, came back, repeat. But in that quiet space, without the constant noise of Jenna's expectations or her subtle put-downs, I started to breathe again. I filed for divorce the week after the counseling session. Kept it simple, no fault, even split on assets. The house was in both our names, but I let her stay there while things processed. I didn't want the drama of kicking her out. I just wanted distance. My lawyer handled the communication, and I moved into a small apartment near the new office branch. It was basic, one bedroom, kitchenette, view of a parking lot, but it was mine. No eggshells, no waiting for the other shoe to drop. Work became my anchor. That promotion I'd turned down before, I circled back to my boss and took it. It meant overseeing a team remotely, with occasional travel to the main office a couple hours away. The extra responsibility was a welcome distraction. I dove in, long hours, but productive ones. For the first time, I wasn't checking my phone every 5 minutes to see if Jenna needed something. Remember that freelance gig I'd done during her unemployment? I picked it up again on weekends, building a side hustle in cybersecurity consulting. It wasn't glamorous, but it padded my savings and gave me purpose. Physically, I changed too. I'd always been fit enough, but now I hit the gym like it was therapy. Early mornings, weights, cardio, whatever cleared my head. Lost 15 pounds, gained some muscle. It wasn't about looking good for revenge. It was about feeling strong again. Mentally, I started seeing a therapist solo. Not Dr. Ellis, someone new. We unpacked a lot. How I'd ignored red flags. How I'd made myself small to keep the peace. You were loyal to a fault, she said. But loyalty without reciprocity is just self-sacrifice. Flashbacks hit me randomly. Like the time, 3 years in, when Jenna's car broke down on a road trip. I drove 4 hours in the rain to pick her up, no questions asked. Or when she wanted that expensive marketing course to boost her career. I maxed a credit card to make it happen, even though it meant delaying my own certifications. You're my rock, she'd say back then. But rocks get eroded, I guess. Those memories stung, but they also fueled me. Why had I settled for being the backup? The confusion lingered, nights staring at the ceiling, wondering if I could have fixed it. But slowly it shifted. I wasn't confused anymore. I was clear. This wasn't my failure. It was her choice. Socially, things got interesting. Mutual friends reached out cautiously at first. Heard about the session, one said over coffee. That's rough, man. I didn't badmouth Jenna, just stated facts. Word spread, and sides formed quietly. A couple friends distanced from her, inviting me to barbecues instead. Her posts online got vaguer, more cryptic, stuff about growth through pain that screamed deflection. I unfollowed everything, focused on my circle. Started hiking on weekends, joined a local trivia league. Met people who didn't know our history, who saw me as Alex, not Jenna's husband. Dating crept in eventually. Nothing serious at first, a coffee here, a dinner there. It was weird, but liberating. No pressure to be the perfect provider. About 6 months post-session, I met Sarah at a work conference. She's an HR, sharp, kind, with a laugh that cuts through BS. We clicked over shared nerdy interests, sci-fi books, bad puns. It wasn't a rebound, it was real. She knew my story, didn't pry, just supported. For the first time, I felt like an equal, not a safety net. Through it all, I stayed detached from Jenna's orbit. Ignored the occasional email from her lawyer nitpicking details. Her attempts tapered off after the initial barrage, but I knew it wasn't over. The silence was too heavy, like a storm building. And yeah, I wondered about Mark. Had she really gone back to him? Rumors trickled in. Friends mentioned seeing them together at bars. But I didn't dig. That was her mess now. Mine was rebuilding, brick by brick. By month 8, I looked in the mirror and saw someone new, confident, unburdened. The hurt was there, a scar, but it didn't define me. I'd sat with the unfairness long enough. Now it was time to rise. That's when karma decided to show up, fashionably late, but with a vengeance. It wasn't some cosmic lightning bolt, just the natural fallout of bad choices unfolding in real time. I didn't seek it out. It found me through the grapevine, bits and pieces from mutual acquaintances who couldn't resist sharing. It started with Jenna moving in with Mark about a month after I left. From what I heard, it was all fireworks at first, romantic getaways, flashy dates. She posted about it indirectly, those new chapter vibes on social media. But cracks appeared fast. Mark, the exciting ex, turned out to be as flaky as advertised. Unstable job, some freelance gig that sounded more like a scam. Arguments escalated. Friends whispered about his temper. One night, it blew up publicly at a local bar. He yelled at her over nothing, smashed a glass. She downplayed it, but word spread. Then the discard. Around month 5 post-split, Mark bailed. Used her for a place to crash while figuring things out. Drained what was left of her savings on his business ventures, and ghosted. Turns out, he had a side chick the whole time. Someone younger, more adventurous. Jenna found out the hard way, via a tagged photo online. She unraveled quick. Lost her job soon after. Brought the drama to work. Missed deadlines during the fallout. Got let go with a severance that barely covered rent. Isolation hit next. Her family enabled her, sure, but even they had limits. Her sister vented to a mutual friend. Jenna's a wreck, crying all day, blaming everyone else. Mutual friends pulled back hard. After hearing the full counseling story from me, neutrally, no embellishments, they saw the hypocrisy. She treated you like a doormat, one said. Invites dried up, group chats went silent. Her reputation took a nosedive. Those vague posts backfired, painting her as unstable. She ended up couch surfing with her mom, scraping by on unemployment, buried in debt from the house payments she couldn't handle alone. I got the details in dribs and drabs, a text from a buddy here, an email there. Never sought it, just nodded and moved on. Internally, it was satisfying in a quiet way. Not glee, more like validation. She'd chased excitement and found chaos. I'd chosen stability and built peace. The irony? She discarded me as boring, but now she was the one adrift. It felt earned, realistic, no Hollywood explosions, just consequences. The fallout didn't stay quiet for long. After the karma wave hit Jenna, her attempts to crawl back ramped up like clockwork. It started subtle, texts slipping through cracks in my blocks, probably from new numbers. Alex, we need to talk. I messed up big time. I'd delete without replying, but they escalated. Voicemails next, tearful at first, then frustrated. Her family jumped in, toxic as ever, guilting me like I was the villain for not forgiving her moment of honesty. About a month after her firing, she showed up at my new apartment unannounced. I'd just gotten home from work, still in my button down, when the buzzer rang. Through the intercom, her voice cracked. Alex, it's me. Please, let me up. I drove all this way. I paused, but curiosity, or maybe closure, won. I buzzed her in, but kept the chain on the door when she knocked. She looked rough, hair messy, eyes puffy, clothes rumpled like she'd slept in them. Thank you, she breathed, stepping close. God, Alex, I've been a wreck. Mark, he was awful. Abusive, manipulative. He took everything, my savings, my confidence. I got fired because I couldn't focus after he left. I'm staying with Mom now, but it's hell. Her lectures never stop. She reached for my hand through the crack, but I stepped back. What do you want, Jenna? Her eyes welled up. I want us back. That counseling thing. I was stupid, pressured to be honest. But it wasn't real. You're the stable one, the good one. We can start over. Therapy again, for real this time. I'll change. I shook my head, voice steady. You said it yourself. If he asked, you'd leave. And you did, basically. Chased the excitement. Left me as the backup. She flushed, twisting it. That was hypothetical. You drove me away with your routine life. No passion, no risks. But now I see, stability matters. Please, Alex. I'm desperate here. Desperate was right, but her logic flipped everything. Blaming me for her choices? Classic hypocrisy. This isn't about passion or risks, I said calmly. It's about respect. You didn't have it for me then. I don't have time for this now. She got angry fast, true colors showing. So that's it. You're just done? After everything I put up with, your boring job, your safe choices? You're heartless, Alex. Walking out like a coward. I closed the door midway through her rant, locking it. Goodbye, Jenna. Her pounding faded as I walked away. Blocked the number she used that day. But she didn't stop. Weeks later, the family barrage intensified. Her sister called from a private line. Alex, this is ridiculous. Jenna's falling apart, crying, not eating. She told me everything. Yeah, she screwed up, but who hasn't? Your family. Suck it up and take her back. Mom's worried sick. I let her talk, then replied flatly. Not my family anymore. Tell Jenna to move on. Click. Her mom emailed next, a long guilt trip. I can't believe you'd abandon my daughter like this. She was just expressing feelings like we taught her. Now she's broke, alone, because of your pride. What kind of man leaves a woman in need? I didn't respond. The attempts turned frantic, Jenna's voicemails swinging from pleas to rage. One night, she called late. Alex, pick up. I know you're there. Mark was a monster. He hit me, stole from me. I'm at rock bottom. You owe me this. We were married. Owe her. After treating me like a placeholder? I listened once, then deleted. Her final push involved a mutual friend, someone who'd stayed neutral, texting. Jenna asked me to reach out. She's sorry, man. Wants closure. I told him the truth, briefly. He backed off after that. The desperation peaked, but I stayed detached. My life was thriving. Promotion locked in, side hustle growing, dates with Sarah turning serious. Jenna's chaos? Irrelevant noise. The climax came unexpectedly at our mutual friend Tom's wedding 9 months after the counseling bomb. It was a small affair, outdoor venue in a park, vague enough to keep it low-key. I'd RSVP'd yes, bringing Sarah as my +1. We were solid by then, laughing over shared hikes, planning trips. She knew the basics about Jenna, no drama. I spotted Jenna across the lawn during the ceremony, looking out of place in a too-tight dress, makeup heavy to hide the wear. She wasn't invited originally, but must have crashed via her sister, who was friends with the bride. Post-vows, at the reception, she cornered me by the buffet while Sarah chatted nearby. "Alex," she whispered urgently, glancing around. "Didn't expect you here. You look good. Successful." I nodded politely, grabbing a plate. "It's Tom's day. Let's keep it civil." She ignored that, stepping closer. "Please, hear me out. I've changed. Therapy, real this time. Mark destroyed me, but it woke me up. I see what I lost. You are life. We can rebuild. I'll do anything." Her eyes darted to Sarah, who was laughing with friends, radiant in a simple sundress. The contrast hit hard. Sarah's ease versus Jenna's desperation. "Who's she?" Jenna asked, voice cracking. "Some rebound." I set my plate down, voice firm and even. "That's Sarah. We're happy. As for us, that ship's sailed. You made your choice. I made mine. You're not part of my life anymore, irrelevant to where I'm headed." She recoiled, hypocrisy flaring. "Irrelevant? After 5 years? You're cold, Alex. I thought you were better than this, dumping me when I'm down." "No dumping," I corrected calmly. "You left first, remember? Hypothetically or not. I've built something real now. Facts are facts." Tears welled, but anger won. "You'll regret this. When she's gone, you'll see I was the one." I shrugged, turning away. "Doubt it. Enjoy the wedding." Sarah joined me then, linking arms, and we walked to our table. Jenna hovered a moment, then slunk off, defeated. That was it. Closure on her terms, none on mine. I blocked her permanently that night. Divorce finalized soon after. She got the house, but sold it quick in her mess. Me? Promoted again, traveling with Sarah, life upgraded. The betrayal stung once, but now? It's a story, nothing more. If you're in a similar spot, Reddit, walk away with dignity. The rest sorts itself. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.